Let's welcome in Brett Goode to the conversation. Brett, what's Henderson Phillips Employer Solutions doing for the Arkansas Razorback football program?
Well, I mean, that's a tough one there. You got to, when you start looking at it, it's really good for a lot of these kids, and I'm glad to see it across the country of everything that's happening, and I really hope that it continues to get better because it is like I was saying. I mean, they're getting a lot of recognition. They're getting their name out there. A lot of people are not going to make a return on their investment. We'll see if they continue to do the same amount of money in year 2 and 3. That's going to be the big key. But then also these kids, now that they've really got to keep, their social media clean. They've got to go back, because I remember guys we had on the Packers that, they went back to like 8th grade and seeing what these people said on media, and they pulled a sponsorship from them because they didn't agree with it. So now that you've got that out there, you're the name of that franchise, and you've really got to be, right in the minds of everybody.
Yeah. For a lot of these, when you sit down and you really think it through, and we've been having these discussions both on and off air, you think about what you're signing up for when you brand your business with one of these athletes, and it's in social media you're signing up for. Who's the audience you're reaching there? It's 12 to 24-year-olds mainly, right? I mean, that's who follows a lot of these athletes. That's who they influence. Does anyone here disagree with that this morning?
I agree with you.
Okay. So is your business seeking, I mean, not that you're wanting to turn down business from 12 to 24-year-olds, but that's not who you're after, because not a lot of 12 to 24-year-olds are buying commercial insurance or group life or health benefits for their employees, are they? It's not your target demo.
You've got a lot of 22-year-olds that are healthy, and they don't care about health insurance.
Exactly. So my point is, many businesses are like yours, that their target demo is a much older individual. So if they're doing it, it's not for true marketing purposes. It's for name recognition, because in order to get a true marketing benefit out of this, you've got to be wanting to reach a younger demo. And that's where the ROI rub's going to come in at some point for a lot of these, unless you're measuring it in a totally different way, which is, hey, I just want my name out there a little bit more. Because most guys I know that are my age, in their 40s, older guys than me in their 50s, guys my dad's age that would be in their 60s, pushing 70, they don't really take advice a lot from 21-year-olds. That's not who they seek advice from when it comes to where they should buy products or where they should eat. That's not really what they do. So if your target demos guys in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, I think long term it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. I think it's a very interesting deal, and to see how all this plays out, Brett.
It is, and it is going to be long term. Everything's great right now. Year 1 is perfect, because every single person you see every sponsorship right now, because everybody's talking about it. Mm-hmm. And how much are we going to pay the next couple of years when these people move on? Do they go professional in their sport, or are they getting another job in their career? Are they moving on? Are you continuing with them? Or there's a lot of different things that happen in the course of each year that these college kids are going to move on and in the transfer portal. Arkansas, we got guys that transfer out. Are we going to stick with that, or how are these contracts written, so that you hope that these things are actually done correctly and not just done on a paper napkin.
Yeah.
Brett, who would you have wanted to sponsor you back in the day?
I think some of the best sponsorships are the restaurants, because, as a college kid, you don't have a whole lot of money anyway, and you just want to get something to eat, and, you get some shirts and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, there's not going to be, for a snapper, there's going to be somebody ready to pay $1 million. I'm realistic in that and knowing that, and it doesn't hurt my feelings that somebody else is getting more. Obviously, I had bigger dreams and bigger aspirations of going to the NFL, to where, there's so much more involved in it than just, $100,000 here. Now, I know that there's talks of Reggie Bush saying, he could have made $4 to $6 million back in the day, and then you can go down the list of guys. Yes, that is great. And for a lot of guys that were big in college, don't make the NFL, that's very beneficial for them. But, again, I hope that the bigger money people have somebody on their side that are helping them save this money and do the right things with it, because now you could possibly have more kids not graduating and then not also playing in professional sports.
Brett, when you look at what's going on, and I thought Clay made a really good point last week, how certain players could even be pushed harder and push themselves harder because there's even more on the line. When it comes to the off-the-field stuff, do you think we're going to see less or more off-the-field altercations and arrests and different things like that for guys that want to stay out of the spotlight, not the good spotlight, the bad spotlight? Do you think there's going to be more incentive for them not to get in trouble off the field now that there's money on the line?
There should be, and it's going to be probably both ways. But you think about last year, even through COVID, professional sports, where there was headlines of guys going to certain bars and doing certain things with cash and throwing it around. So you start giving some people some cash, it's hard. That money starts burning a hole in your pocket, and you want to go out and you want to buy drinks for your friends. They're all 21. You start going down to, let's just say, Dixon or wherever the college town, the strip is where the bars are in the college town. You want to be known. You're going to be flashy. And you may have that person's shirt on there, but they've given you money. And so now you're being out there and you think you're doing the right thing, but then one or two drinks lead you to do something else. And that's where the issue's going to start coming in. And yeah, it's going to be tough because I've seen it in the NFL where you give guys money and they can't control themselves. Now you're giving even younger people money, and I hope that they can, but the future will tell.
Yeah. Did you watch the golf last night? I'm sure you did, with Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady on there, with Phil Mickelson and Bryson DeChambeau. What were your takeaways from the match last night out in Montana?
Well, first of all, that course is beautiful. I mean, I'd love to get out there and play. It was kind of funny.
I just love to get to Montana and look around.
Exactly. I don't think I need to play. Just let me drive the golf cart around there and see some of the wildlife and just see the course. It was a gorgeous course. The weather looked great. That was a pretty good match for the most part. I think Bryson didn't kind of play up to his professionalism that he should have had. He kind of struggled off the tee, but Aaron was hitting fairways. Thought Tom played well and Phil played well. I thought it was a good match for the most part. Had some ups and downs. One of the most interesting holes was to see, not just the two amateurs of Aaron and Tom, but see the professionals doing that alternate shot with a random club. That was quite a hole. To see those guys struggle using that.
Yeah. Aaron pretty tight-lipped on his football plans, as you'd expect last night, but he was pressed on some of the questions as camp gets closer. Any thoughts on that as camp is moving in pretty close later in the month and still not a lot of word on what Aaron Rodgers is going to do?
He was tight-lipped. I know that he did mention to Chuck that he'd tell him in Tahoe next week, which is another deal that he got going on, celebrity golf event, and the media's just going to be on him. He was, Tom Brady did say he's the leader of the Packers, I think, and kind of joking around there when Rob Gronkowski was on the phone with him. So you have to be tight-lipped because there's something going on behind the scenes. He talks his post-game interview. He's talking about, the quieter side and the wisdom and all the mental health stuff that he talked about in the beginning of the week. There's something going on. I think he's still going to play, and I think it will be for the Packers. I just don't know when he's going to show up and what the contract talks are right now.
Put a percentage on it. Week 1, he's the starting quarterback.
Week 1 for the regular season. Regular season for the Packers. Well, I don't think there's a huge trade market for him right now, and that's the other problem is as the closer we're getting to training camp, the trade is going to go down. Now, yes, back in the day, Brett Favre did. In training camp, did go to Jets. There is one team out there that would take him. But they're not going to, it's not going to be a whole lot of market because you have a whole off season of information that you haven't learned that you've got to learn in training camp. But I'd say, week 1, I'm probably going to say it's 80%. I'm not going to say it's 100 because can't give you that. But week 1 of the preseason and showing up on time for training camp, I'd say that's 50-50 right now because I don't know if he's going to show up for week 1 of training camp.
Brad, are you more looking forward to the NFL season ahead, bunch of storylines, or what Arkansas football can do in 2021?
Well, I always love the NFL. Still love my Packers. I love just kind of seeing all these different guys come together. It's the same thing on the college level, but you see the point spreads of the NFL. They're all close, and that's what I enjoy about that game. Is even the losing teams. The year that we took the Detroit Lions the first time for a team to go 0-16, it was still a close game. They were still guys that got paid to play, and they knew their job was on the line. So I love the NFL, but I always will watch the Hogs and love them. And And I want to see this team develop. I want to see the year two. We actually got an off season with our coaching staff and kind of see the moves that we're making, because you can see the rest of our sports. Everything's picking their game up in Arkansas. We're becoming, a really good sports school, and we've got to hopefully continue that. And football is the big key factor that we need to get moving in the right direction.
Brett, you've told me about some of the bar scenes in Lambeau Field. It's National Dive Bar Day. In Green Bay, was there a favorite dive bar? This might have been the place that you and Aaron did karaoke one night, but is there a favorite dive bar that you had ventured to back in your playing days?
Oh, man, we used to have a sports corner. It did eventually close down. Then there was a sardine can. The sardine can was an interesting one. I don't know if I can actually say things that they did on the radio. You can go to their website, though. They used to play the American, the national anthem, and they'd come out there and they'd have certain races with a certain female product. There was a lot of things that kind of went in play in Green Bay. Everybody had a good time. I mean, even every single bar in Green Bay was almost a dive bar. That was what's so great. It was just like Cheers. Every single place you went to, they were all family. They had been there, and so we just bounced around. Found the ones that were, low key, that wouldn't take a lot of photos. Because again, you don't want photos taken when you go to these places. You just want to be able to relax. And we find the right ones and be able to still have a good time.
Free pizza on Monday and Tuesday at the Sardine, Tommy.
The sardine can, right?
The Sardine can.
Sardine can. And, so when y'all were talking earlier about flyovers, a lot of the pilots would come, when they come in and do the flyovers, the night before a game, or they would be out there. And so they'd go by there. And, of course, what I've always heard, I never obviously had a flight suit. I'm too big for one. But I think that you get some drinks paid for when you are wearing a flight suit. That's another perk of doing that job.
It'd be worth buying the flight suit, just have one made just for the free drinks, right?
It would be. I think they would kind of give it away if the big guy was coming in there. But you say, well, I just have to say I'm a mechanic. That'd probably work.
There you go. All right, Brett Goode with us here every Wednesday on the Morning Rush. He was part of the Packers for a decade, former Razorback, now part of the team at Henderson Phillips Employer Solutions. What's going on this week? I know still a lot of people trying to figure out how to upgrade, how to beef up their employee benefits right now.
That's right. We got people, moving in and doing different things. We're trying to get everybody taken care of. We've got our current clients. We're working on changing a few things, and we're even looking forward to January 1. That's how far out we kind of start working on people to make sure that they're getting the best deal and getting the right deal that they need, and actually comparing prices. Because in this market and wanting to keep employees on your staff, you've got to have some great benefits with you.
Yeah, so if you're struggling to hire employees or keep your best employees, make sure they have the best employee benefits. Give Brett a call for that. 479-651-2292. Health insurance, group life, personal life, staffing management solutions, commercial and personal insurance. Brett can take care of all of those kind of things for you and your company. 651-2292 for Brett Goode with Henderson Phillips Employer Solutions. Brett, have a great Wednesday. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.